Hello CW fans. Today I'm going to give you a little tour of the SQ9KFQ CW Key made by Robert in Poland. Dzień dobry pani. So, you might have noticed that in a lot of my mobile or I think maybe a couple of POTA activations that I've put on as videos, that I've used this CW key a bunch of times, and this is really my new go-to CW key for the mobile and portable operations, only because I've got to say it's pretty rock solid. There's no springs, it's all magnetic, and with the exception of the acrylic finger paddles, it's solid as a rock. I do have a right angle connector that I do connect into here just in case something, it kind of like falls this way or whatever. It's going to minimize any impact, but in general, this thing is solid. Everything is brass, with the exception of obviously the ball bearings and then the pin that holds them in. And then there is, so we've got the magnetic stuff in here that is obviously not brass either, but everything else is brass, so with the exception of this nice acrylic overlay and these acrylic finger paddles. But super nice. We've got adjustments on either side here for moving the magnet in and out to effectively adjust the tension. And then we also have the adjustment so that you can move the contact point in and out, which then effectively gives you the amount of throw that you want on each one of these paddles. As you might have noticed in a lot of my other videos, I like to keep the contact points as tight as possible. But in mobile operations, it's a little difficult only because, especially if you're driving and you go over a bump, it has a tendency of hitting the contact point and you send out maybe unwanted dits or dahs as you're going down the road sometimes and go over bumps. But yes, this is the SQ9KFQ CW Key, and the interesting part is that I think Robert is generally retired, but he's got a pretty cool machine shop in his lower level of his residence that he likes to do fun things. But I think he's kind of retired from making CW keys. So if you have one of these, consider yourself lucky. They are really well made. Here's the bottom contact points. Here's the even the attention to detail, right? The nut is also brass, so it's really nice. It's got a really nice feel. This thing is very heavy. It's solid brass, of course. So I think this is over a kilogram for sure, maybe 1.5. And I have another one, which you'll see in a moment, that it feels a little bit heavier. I think the base is squared off, so you get a little bit more square millimeters of brass. But this is Robert from Poland, SQ9KFQ CW Key. There's a lot of similarities to some of his keys, and if you look him up on the internet, he's actually pretty active on Facebook too. You might want to reach out if you feel like you want one. He may make one, but I'm not exactly sure. So, like I said, if you have one, consider yourself kind of lucky, and I'm glad I have two. So we're going to take a look at my square-based one also that I keep out at my other QTH. And this is my other CW paddle by SQ9KFQ. And it is really similar to the round one, other than the fact that it does not have like an acrylic top piece to it. It is total brass, which makes it a little bit difficult to keep clean, but that's okay. I have a good time taking it apart, buffing it up, and making it nice. But same thing, we've got thumb screws, set screws that adjust the distance from the contact point here. We have magnetic return in here. These adjust the amount of return for that. Got some acrylic finger paddles here, and yeah, a nice call sign here. But really a beautiful work of art. This thing is so heavy. I think it's like, I don't know, I'm gonna guess it's maybe like 1.5 kilograms, possibly more. But everything is really well done on the back, cut out. But like I mentioned, I think Robert is semi-retired, and I don't know that he's making these so much anymore. So if you have one, consider yourself lucky. I have now transitioned, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm going to be, I actually use the round one in my vehicle for mobile operations, and when I'm in Indiana, if I'm doing like POTA, I'll bring that with, because it is just so rugged, rock solid. It's like bulletproof. Of course, I don't want to drop it. Actually, I did drop this one once, and the pedestal, this pin right here, these are pressed into this ball bearing, and this whole apparatus like slid down, and I was thinking, oh no, what did I do? But it was okay. I was able to push it through, and worked out really well. So this is the SQ9KFQ. Robert from Poland makes these by hand. He has a metal shop in his lower level, and it is beautiful. It's a work of art. It almost looks like it's gold, but solid brass appointments just about everywhere.